Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen from Player Attack. We are at PAX Australia. I am with Roland from Avalanche. We are talking Just Cause. We have Rico hanging out here and blowing things up, and we get to re-meet him again and really soon. How did Rico get to where he is in Just Cause 3?
I never really thought about it, Rico. But there's a difference between you look and you see. Look at Medici. She's beautiful. She's a jewel in the sun. But you see Medici. She's completely rotten.
So we started with wanting to know who Rico was a little bit. Like, how did he become Rico Rodriguez? And so we looked at where he was when he grew up. So he was born in Mexico, and he moved to Medici when he was a little kid. His mother's from there. And he grew up there in Medici until he was a teenager. And then Di Ravello, the evil dictator who holds the island, took power in a night we call the Night of the Bonfires, and a coup that took over power. And Rico had to escape because his parents were killed. And he disappeared, and he ended up meeting Sheldon of the agency and ended up working with them. And then Just Cause 1 happened in San Espirito and Just Cause 2 in Pinau. And now he's kind of learned to be a dictator removal specialist. And he's going to use all those tools to come back here to his hometown to finally depose the dictator that started it all. So many years ago, I think the kernel of the idea came from one of the founders of the studio, Christopher Sundberg, who invented this crazy action hero who was a Latino action hero diving from a sky. And the initial concept was, I want to be able to jump out of a plane and free fall down to the earth, stunt straight onto the top of a vehicle, and continue that all in a single chain without ever braking. And so that challenge was kind of put out to a team, and Just Cause 1 was kind of invented out of it. And Rico had a gun that was a grapple hook gun. And then in Just Cause 2, it was like, that grapple hook is so cool, let's now make that a key part of what it means to move around, and combine that with the parachute. Suddenly you can slingshot your way around the world. And we saw the player creativity that came out of it. I mean, there were 12 million videos uploaded to YouTube of Just Cause 2. So big fan, hardcore fans out there who are doing some amazing things with it. And then the modding community was like, look at what we can do with all these systems. So, you know, as devs, you're like, wow, the mod community has done some pretty amazing things. We have Just Cause 2 and a great fan base behind it. How do we get Rico Rodriguez to be bigger, more explosive-y into this world? And so we looked at things like the grapple hook and added, now you can have up to 6 grapples in the world at once. You can actually control the tension of the grapple line, which is really fun because you can put a car to a shipping container, and you know, real physics will happen. So the shipping container might move slower than the car, and then they'll smash together and explode, most likely, as everything explodes. And then we decided to put in things like the wingsuit. So now you can soar through the world, and combine that with the grapple hook. You know, you don't just have to go down the mountain or down towards the water. You can actually go up the mountain using the grapple, wingsuiting kind of upwards, which is pretty fun. And of course, you know, all the vehicles. We have over 80 vehicles in the game, helicopters and bombers and fighter jets and giant destroyer boats and F1 inspired race cars. And you know, it's one of those games where you have all these toys at your disposal, and it's really up to you what you want to do, and hopefully it makes you smile. And the team that was working on our vehicles, we wanted to rebuild it from the ground up from Just Cause 2. It was something our fans came back to us. They wanted weightier, stronger vehicles. And it can be a challenge because in a big game like this, there's so many mechanics, so many things to do. You know, how much energy can you pour into it? So we got lucky, and some guys who worked on Need for Speed and the Burnout series came on board, and we're like, we're gonna make awesome vehicles in this giant open world. And at first, a lot of people say, well, you've got a wingsuit and a parachute and a grapple hook. Why do you need vehicles? And that is actually the challenge that you give to designers and programmers and artists and animators and sound designers and VFX people, to say, make vehicles so much fun that people will want to use them, and then you'll have a great feature there. And so we rebuilt it so you can drift them perfectly around corners, and you can after touch it in the air, so you can kind of do a backflip in a vehicle if you want. But of course, like, you can stunt on any vehicle. So be it a jet, you can stunt out and actually walk anywhere you want along the wings of the jet while it's flying around and still grappling and shooting rocket launchers from it and so forth. You can also take any vehicle in the world and take it into a challenge. And so we kept trying to think, how do we open up this toolbox? So normally you get in a race and we recommend, here, take this vehicle. But in the menu, you can actually change any vehicle that you've collected in the world and use that vehicle. And then we have mods so that we want to add those to the vehicles. So nitrous, any vehicle that you've asked the rebels to deliver to you will have nitrous on it if you have it unlocked, obviously. Or if you've ever seen Knight Rider, there's like a button in kit, which I always loved as a kid, which was like, I pushed the button and it just jumped. The car just leaped into the air. It was called the turbo jump button, which never made any sense, but it was awesome. And so we have that button in the game because it's awesome. And you can attach it to any vehicle that you have the rebels deliver, be it a tractor or a bus or a boat. I mean, you can take a helicopter and add nitrous to it, and it becomes like Airwolf. And that's the kind of joy of the game, is you look at all these systems and you're like, yeah, but what if I do this and turn this on and take this vehicle? Well, oh yeah, it works. That's awesome. And that sense of discovery is what hopefully makes people smile for hours and hours as they play in the game. You play Just Cause and you can give pain to other people. Enjoy. Pay to joy.